Very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the workshop Rewire with Words Unlocking the Power of Self Talk and Belief. My name is Nehal Jain, and I work as a junior psychologist at MindTribe. My specializations include stress, anxiety, trauma, depression, and issues related to relationships. Thank you all for joining in. Here are some ground rules. This is a non judgmental zone. Confidentiality will be maintained, and whatever is discussed here will stay here. A few disclaimers. Recording, transcribing, or capturing any part of this workshop is strictly prohibited. The content shared in this session is the intellectual property of MindTribe, and unauthorized recording, reproduction, or distribution is not allowed. Now, let's get started with an icebreaker activity called The Voices Within. It is very simple to do, and I would request all of you to close your eyes and try to recall a recent challenge that you all faced. While you were thinking of that issue, what did your inner voice say? Was it supportive or critical? Think about it. Now let's get started with the introduction. The first topic for today is self talk. And what is it about? So, it is a natural cognitive process. People might engage in self talk more when they face obstacles or challenges. People use self talk either silently or speak to themselves out aloud. This inner voice starts from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed and can help you process your experiences, make decisions, and ask questions. Self talk is important because it has a big impact on how you feel, what you do, and even how you manage your pain. It can be supportive, motivate you, or it can be negative and lower your confidence. So, there are basically three major types of self talk: positive, negative, and neutral. So, the positive self talk is an inner dialogue that makes a person feel good about themselves. A person can use positive self talk to think optimistically and feel motivated. Identifying negative self talk is the first step towards thinking more positively. So, positive self talk can encourage and motivate a person to keep going on. Some examples could be I'm really happy for myself, or I'm doing well. The negative self talk is your inner voice, which is overly critical, pessimistic, and focused on the bad. The negative self talk can lower your confidence, stop you from reaching your potential, your goals, and also make you believe that you're going to fail before you start. So, some examples could be I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm no good at this. Nothing's ever going to get better. And the last type is the neutral self talk. And it is a type of inner dialogue that is objective and is based on reality without being overly positive or negative. It focuses on the facts, acknowledging the situations and emotions without any judgments. So, some examples could be instead of saying, I'm so bad at this, you might say, this is a challenging task and I'm learning how to do it. Or instead of saying that I am a terrible person, you might say that I made a mistake and I can definitely learn from it. Now let's try to understand why does self-talk matter? So your self-talk can affect your self-esteem, your confidence, your mental health, and therefore your relationship with others. If you mainly think negatively about yourself, you will feel bad most of the time. This can drag you down, or if you're already feeling down, it can be hard to get back up. So, now let's try to understand the major types of self talk and how it impacts us. The first one is shapes self image. So, our self talk directly contributes on how we perceive ourselves. If your inner voice is kind, encouraging, and accepting, it reinforces a positive self image, helping you believe in your worth and competence. On the other hand, a negative self talk can erode your self esteem, making you feel inadequate or undeserving, even when that's far from the truth. So, one example could be telling yourself that I always mess things up reinforces a belief that you are incompetent even when you're not. The next aspect is it affects your performance. So, when you tell yourself before, during, and after a task can significantly influence your performance. So, positive self talk will boost your focus, motivation, and your resilience to bounce back. Negative self talk creates self doubt, it creates anxiety, and often leads to underperformance. The next one is influences emotion. Self talk shapes how you interpret your situations, which in turn will affect your emotional response. So, a supportive, rational self talk will help you regulate your emotions and reduce stress, while catastrophic or critical self talk can often lead to anxiety, anger, sadness. So, example could be thinking that they haven't replied, they must be upset with me, can create anxiety, even if the reality is harmless. And the last aspect is drives behavior. So, the way you speak to yourself can either push you towards a healthy action or hold you back. And encouraging self talk will fuel action, persistence, and risk taking. So, defeating your inner dialogue can lead to avoidance, procrastination, and also self sabotage. So, example could be repeating that I am not cut out for leadership might cause you to decline opportunities that could actually prove otherwise. Now it's time for another activity, and it's called self talk in action. So, the instructions are as follows. There are two parts to this activity. In part one, just think of any one negative thought that you've been experiencing and how did that make you feel. Take your time and think about it. Okay, now let's come to the next part of this activity. Now, think of any one positive thought. For example, I'm growing every day. And can you identify any difference between the two feelings? Okay, now let's move forward and try to understand what beliefs are. So, beliefs are the mental convictions or assumptions we hold to be true. It could be about ourselves, the others, the world, and how things work. They act as internal filters that shape how we interpret the situations around us, the experiences, and help us make decisions. So there could be a lot of beliefs here, but we'll talk about three majorly. The first one is the core belief, and these are deeply held, often unconscious views about our identity and worth. So, for example, I'm lovable or I'm a failure could be a core belief. The next could be the assumptions, and these are the beliefs about how the world should work. So, for example, if I am kind, people should treat me well. And the third one should be rules. These are conditional beliefs that guide our behavior. For example, I must never show weakness. Now, why do beliefs matter? Because they shape our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. They can also influence how we interpret the events, how we treat ourselves and others, and the goals we pursue and the risks we take. So, in short, beliefs are like invisible scripts running in the background, influencing every part of our lives, often without us realizing it. Now, beliefs are formed through a combination of the following. The first one is past experiences. Emotionally charged experiences strongly influence what we come to believe. Successes may create beliefs like I am capable, while failure or trauma can lead to limiting beliefs such as I am not good enough. So, one example could be a child frequently criticized for making mistakes may grow up believing I must be perfect to be accepted. The next one is cultural upbringing. So, culture provides shared norms, values, and expectations that shape beliefs about identity, success, and what is right or wrong. These beliefs often feel natural simply because they are widely accepted in the society one grows up in. The next is education. What we are taught in school or through our mentors significantly impacts how we view the world. So, education can open mind to new perspectives, or in rigid systems, reinforce fixed ways of thinking. The next is family or religion. Family dynamics and religious teachings are among the earliest and the most powerful influences our belief systems. They help shape moral values, often self worth, expectations, and also the worldviews. And also, often long before one has the ability to question or analyze them. And lastly, we have personal observations. So, what we observe in others, how they succeed, fail, rewarded, or punished, can shape beliefs even if we haven't directly experienced those outcomes ourselves. So, repeated observations become patterns our mind uses to form expectations. So, the one example could be seeing people judged harshly for vulnerability may create a belief like showing emotions is quite unsafe. So, this was about the belief system. Now, let's understand what the self fulfilling prophecy is. So, a self fulfilling prophecy is a psychological phenomenon where a belief or expectation, whether it's true or false, influences behavior in a way that causes the belief to come true. In simple terms, what you expect often becomes what you experience because your thoughts impact your actions and your actions shape your reality. Now let's try to understand how this self-fulfilling prophecy works. So the first step is belief or expectation is formed. So you form an expectation about yourself, someone or situation. So for example, I am not good at public speaking. The next step would be this belief influences your behavior. So you act in ways that align with the belief, often unconsciously. So, for example, could be continuing the same example. You avoid preparation for your public speaking event, you speak nervously, or you don't volunteer for your speaker roles. The third would be attitude shapes our perspective. So, your actions will create results that match your original belief. So, the same example would be the speech will go poorly, confirming your fear because you did not practice at all. And the last would be the belief is reinforced. So, you now feel even more certain that the belief is true, making it more likely to repeat in the future. So, example would be I knew I couldn't do it. Now, let's take another simple example. So, you have this one belief, that is the first step, that you're not good at maths. We, this is one of the beliefs we all had in our childhood that we are not good at maths. Now, this belief will affect your behavior. That is, you'll stop practicing math sums. Now, the third step would be Since you did not practice the math sum and you did not have enough practice, you scored very poorly. You did not score well at all. And that will follow the last step, that is, the outcome will reinforce the belief. So you had to believe that you're not good at math, even though it could be false. Now, that was about the self fulfilling prophecy. Let's talk about the subconscious mind. So, the subconscious mind refers to the part of your mind that operates below the level of your conscious awareness. Yet, it plays a very powerful role in shaping your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, since it stores all the information, memories, and programming that we are not actively thinking about. So, let's try to understand the concept that was given by Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was the father of psychoanalysis, and he divided the mind into three parts: conscious, preconscious, and unconscious. So the conscious mind is what we are aware of right now, that are our thoughts, decisions. Preconscious are the things we can recall if we try, like a memory. And unconscious is a deep reservoir of repressed memories, desires, and unresolved conflicts. Now, another psychologist by the name of Carl Jung also gave an idea regarding this. So he said that there is a personal unconscious which is similar to Freud's unconscious, that is made up of forgotten memories, emotions, and experiences. And he also talked about the collective unconscious, which is a deeper layer shared by all humans, containing universal archetypes. So Jung emphasized that the subconscious isn't just a storehouse of suppressed material, but also a source of intuition, creativity, and inner guidance. So now let us understand the key functions of the subconscious mind. Okay, so the first one is automatic responses. The subconscious is responsible for habits, reflexes, and routine actions. Once a behavior is learned, the subconscious mind will take over. So it will allow us to drive a car, type on the keyboard, or respond emotionally without any conscious thought. So you can think of the subconscious mind as an autopilot. It will work automatically. The next is emotional memory. So the subconscious mind stores experiences, mostly emotional ones, and also the ones that are quite intense. So these memories may not be consciously recalled, but can influence how we react in similar situations. So, for example, a person who has been humiliated in public may avoid speaking up without knowing why. The next is core beliefs. Core beliefs about self worth, safety, love are deeply rooted in our subconscious mind. These are often formed in childhood and can shape your entire worldview for better or for worse. So, for example, I am not good enough or I must be perfect to be loved. And the last one is mental programming. So, repetition and reinforcement shape the subconscious, like programming on a computer. So, repeated thoughts, especially under emotional stress, become ingrained patterns that influence behavior and self talk. So, to summarize, the subconscious mind is a silent but powerful force that stores our past experiences and beliefs, controls habitual reactions, and influences emotions and behaviors without us realizing it. Now, let us take a moment and think about this question. What is one negative thought that you've been repeating to yourself lately? Think about it for a few seconds and try to reflect. Let's move forward to our next topic, that is common self talk traps. So, a self talk trap refers to a pattern of negative or distorted internal dialogue that keeps us stuck in unhelpful situations, thoughts, and behaviors. So, these traps are automatic and often go unnoticed, but can significantly impact our self esteem, motivation, and emotional well being. So think of it as a mental loop where your inner voice reinforces the fear, self doubt, or pessimism, even when it's not based on reality. So a self talk can sometimes feel like a trap as it feels true even when it is not. It often magnifies the negativity and dismisses the strengths or positives, and it fuels anxiety, guilt, shame, or even anger. So now let us try to understand the common types of self talk. The first one is called catastrophizing, and it is expecting the worst case scenario, no matter how unlikely. So, one example could be if I make one mistake, I'll get fired. The next one is personalization, and it is blaming yourself for things that are beyond your control. One example could be it's my fault, the team did not perform well. The third one is overgeneralization, and it is drawing broad conclusions from one single event. So, one example could be I messed this up one task because I always screw things up. And last one would be all or nothing thinking. So, you see things in the black or white only. It is either success or failure, perfection or worthlessness. So, for example, if I don't do this perfectly, I'm a total failure. So, self talk traps is a mental habit that distorts how you interpret yourself and your experiences. So, recognizing these traps is the first step towards shifting your mindset and improving your emotional resilience. So, now I have a reflective question for you all, and it is: are your negative thoughts helpful or kind? And if they are, is there any evidence to support the same? Think about the same. Okay, now let's move forward and we have a short ad break. Just like on YouTube or Spotify, if it's free, there's a short break. So you can grab your water bottles and some snacks, and this will be over shortly. So, what is one on one counseling? It is a personalized, confidential session between a client and a trained therapist. It is important because it helps in personal growth, problem solving, and goal setting. So, one major misconception about counseling is that it is only for those who are sick. But in reality, counseling is for anyone and everyone who wants to be their best version. And why should you choose MindTribe Counseling? Because we have highly talented counselors here. The charges are quite affordable and it ranges from 500 to 5,000 depending on the seniority of the counselor. And the first session is at a minimal cost. Every first session here with any counselor is at rupees 249, and we also provide affordable packages second session onwards. Now we have come to the second half of our workshop. The first half was focused on how negative thinking and its pattern affect us. Now the second half will be focused more on the positive thinking and its importance. So this slide says benefits of positive thinking. So positive thinking is more than just looking on the bright side. It's a mental attitude that focuses on the solutions, opportunities, and growth even in the face of difficulties. So, when practiced consistently, positive thinking can significantly improve both personal well being and also professional one. So, let us understand one by one. So, the first benefit says better stress management. Positive thinkers are better at handling stress because they view challenges as temporary and manageable rather than overwhelming or catastrophic. So instead of getting stuck in a cycle of anxiety or helplessness, they focus on what can be done and take proactive steps towards the resolution. The next is better problem solving. So when you're optimistic, your brain is more open to exploring the options instead of focusing on the threats or the limitations. So positive thinking shifts you from your flight or fight to a more solution oriented state. The next one is more creative thinking. So, positive emotions broaden the cognitive flexibility. So, when you're in a positive state, you're more likely to think outside the box, take intellectual risk, and generate innovative ideas. So, the benefits could be enhanced brainstorming and ideation, openness to diverse perspectives, and feedback. The fourth one is greater adaptability to change. Change is inevitable, but positive thinkers see it as an opportunity rather than a threat. They are more likely to embrace the uncertainty, stay hopeful during transitions, and trust in their ability to navigate the unknown. So, the benefits could be less resistance to fear during the change, greater resilience and psychological flexibility, and faster adjustment to new roles, environments, or technologies. And lastly, we have stronger leadership skills. So, positive thinkers make better leaders because they inspire confidence, foster trust, and create a culture of possibility rather than fear. They model resilience and optimism, which motivates others and drives team performance. So, benefits could be higher team morale and collaboration, better conflict resolution and empathy, stronger influence, engagement, and strategic thinking. Moving forward, let's understand the importance of focusing on the positive thinking. So, focusing on this is a conscious and a continuous practice. It involves reshaping your mindset, building healthy habits, and being intentional about the thoughts you choose to engage in. So, let us discuss how you can start cultivating a more positive outlook using the following key strategies. The first one is identify areas of change. So start by noticing your negative thoughts when they tend to arise, whether it's work, relationships, self-image. Becoming aware of these patterns allow us to target the specific areas where you can shift your perspective. Ask yourself, where do I feel most frustrated, fearful, or self-critical? Then work on reframing those thoughts. The next one is to check on yourself. Practice self awareness throughout the day by monitoring your internal dialogue. Notice when your thoughts become overly critical, pessimistic, or unproductive. Then challenge those thoughts with logical and compassion. So instead of saying, I can't do this, try saying a statement like, this is challenging, but I'm learning and improving. The third one is be open to humor. Humor helps reduce stress and creates emotional distance from your problems. When you allow yourself to laugh, even during difficult moments, it will release tension and bring in perspective. Positivity doesn't mean denying your challenges, it means not being consumed by them. So, finding something to smile about shifts your mental and emotional state instantly. The next one is to follow a healthy lifestyle. Your physical and mental health can deeply impact each other. So, regular exercise, proper nutrition, Quality sleep and mindfulness all enhance your emotional resilience and mental clarity, making it easier to stay positive. So, a well balanced body will support a well balanced mind. And lastly, surround yourself with positive people. The energy of the people around you matters. Positive, solution focused individuals can uplift your mindset, offer encouragement, and model constructive ways of thinking and reacting. On the other hand, constant exposure to negativity can drain your motivation and increase your self doubt. So, focusing on positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring life's challenges. It means choosing empowering responses over reactive ones. So, by identifying areas of change, checking in with your thoughts, taking care of your body, you can rewire your mindset for optimism, resilience, and lasting well being. Now, let's try to understand the four-step belief rewiring method. It is quite simple yet powerful technique to help you break free from your limiting beliefs and negative self-talk by increasing your self-awareness consciously. So the first step here is name the thought. The focus is to bring the negative thoughts into awareness. Often limiting beliefs operate in the background, shaping your behavior without you even realizing it. So by naming the thought, you shine a light on it and begin to separate yourself from it. So ask yourself, what is a thought that keeps coming up when I feel anxious, stuck, or discouraged? If you've read Harry Potter or watched the movies, you will understand my reference. Everyone in the Visiting World called Voldemort as you know who or he who must not be named, as they were very scared of his strength and power. But once Harry, the main character, called him by his name, that is Voldemort, that is when he was able to break his power. The next step is identify the voice. Now, try to identify where this thought is coming from. Is it your inner critique, a parent's voice, or a society's expectation? So, try to recognize the source will help you to realize that the thought may not be true and it could just be learned. This creates emotional distance and reduces the thought's control over you. So, one example could be that sounds like my teacher who always told me I wouldn't succeed. In such situations, ask yourself, whose belief am I carrying? Is this my voice or someone else's? Now, challenge the belief using logic, self compassion, or evidence. Try to neutralize the thought. Remind yourself that thoughts are just facts and they could not always be true. So, you can speak to the belief as if you're gently correcting a misinformed friend. So, neutralizing the thought breaks the emotional charge and weakens its grip on your mind. It creates space for a healthier perspective. And lastly, try to replace that thought with a positive affirmation. So, an affirmation is a positive statement that someone repeats, either to themselves or aloud, to encourage a desired mindset. So, for example, I am capable, I am the best, I can do anything. So, fill the space by the old belief with a new empowering message, one that supports your growth and aligns with who you want to become. So, one example could be I am learning and growing every day. I am enough as I am. So, in summary, the four step belief rewiring model or method is about moving from automatic reactions to intentional mindset shifts. So, naming the thought will lead to awareness, identifying the voice will lead to the understanding, Neutralizing that will disempower the old belief, and replacing it will reprogram your mind. It's time for another activity, and it's called real time reframe. Now, let us try to reframe our negative thoughts. Here's one example: I'm always messing up, so I'm learning with every step. Take your time to think about it. Okay, now here are some examples for you to help the conversion. So if you have this one negative thought that I've never done it before, you could change it to it's an opportunity to learn something new. Just have a look at all these examples. And now we have come to the last topic of this workshop, that is the tools and techniques. So the first one is the self-instructional training given by the psychologist Donald Meikenbaum, and it is a cognitive behavioral technique which was developed in the 1970s, and it focuses on teaching individuals to manage their behavior, their emotions through self-directed speech, essentially learning how to coach themselves mentally through challenges or difficult situations. So the core goal is to replace the impulsive or the negative dialogue with a more positive, constructive self instructions. Now let's try to understand the key principles. So the first one is to identify the negative self talk. We have to become aware of the internal dialogue that is contributing to the poor behavior or any anxiety or failure. So, one example could be I can't do this or I always mess up. So, the idea is to observe the thoughts in high stress or failure prone situations, write down the recurring negative statements, and discuss when these thoughts tend to appear and how they influence your behavior. The next one is to identify the negative thought and replace it. So once your negative self talk is identified, you need to replace it with a constructive alternative. So these are positive instructional statements that can foster confidence, patience, and also problem solving. So the strategy is to develop a set of coping statements. For example, I can handle this, I can do this, and stay calm. So practice saying them out loud or internally before, during, and after a task. The third step or the principle is to use the self instructions to guide your behavioral change. So the individual learns to talk themselves through tasks, similar to how a coach or a teacher might guide a student. So these verbal cues are used to regulate your attention, reduce impulsivity, and also maintain focus. So, you have to prepare, plan, execute, and evaluate. So the person will become their own internal guide. And the last one is homework and practice, which is essential everywhere because change does not happen overnight. Baum emphasized the importance of regular practice, both in session and through real life homework tasks, because repetition helps rewire the brain and form new self talk habits. So, some benefits of self instructional training: Could be improved emotional regulation, that is, less anxiety, less frustration. It could also lead to self control and task persistence. It betters your focus, planning, and decision making, and it is also, help you enhance your confidence and resilience in challenging tasks. Okay, now the other technique is the daily reprogramming, and I have shortlisted three techniques under it. So the first one is morning affirmations. So a morning affirmation is a powerful technique, and by intentionally repeating positive statements at the start of your day, you can prime your mind to focus on the empowerment, self-belief, and purposeful action. So this action and this practice will help you shift your subconscious programming away from the fear or doubt and towards a more clarity path, a more path that leads to confidence and resilience. So why morning affirmations? Because the first 20 to 30 minutes after waking up are a powerful window for your subconscious influence. So your brain is in a relaxed, the alpha theta wave state, which is similar to a light meditative or a hypnotic state. So in this mindset, you are more open to suggestions, making it an ideal time to plant your positive thoughts and beliefs. So affirmations will help you choose your mindset for the day rather than reacting to external stresses. Instead of starting your day with worry, with doom scrolling on social media, or negative thoughts, you can create an intentional emotional baseline. And when repeated consistently, your affirmations will override your limiting beliefs stored in your subconscious, replacing your I'm not good enough with I'm worthy and capable. So it is very simple to practice. You can choose 5 to 10 powerful affirmations that are related to your goals. You can speak them out loud, or you can also, try to write them if you want, and repeat each statement 3 to 5 times so that it gets reinforced. And one of the major aspect here is to stay consistent, because if you're not consistent, it will not be as helpful. So a few examples could be: today is full of new opportunities and I am ready. Other example could be I am becoming the best version of myself, or I radiate confidence, stress, positivity. And one of my favorite statements is today is the best day of my life. Moving forward, the next one is nighttime positive reflections. So these are gentle but powerful techniques and involves consciously reviewing and focusing on the positive statements, achievements and lessons from your entire day just before you go to sleep. So again, why nighttime? What is the main purpose here? So the moments before sleep are also the prime time for your subconscious influence, as your brain transitions from active thinking, that is the beta waves, it goes to alpha and theta brain waves, which we discussed in the morning affirmations also. It is more of a meditative state, a hypnotic state, and your mind is very open to suggestions during that time. So your thoughts you dwell on at night will reinforce and internalize while you sleep. So, if you end your day with peace, gratitude, and calmness, it will also calm your nervous system, reduce anxiety, and promoting a deeper, restful sleep. So, recognizing your small wins or progress will build your self worth, the motivation, even on tough days. So, again, how to practice it? You can find a quiet moment before you go to bed and try to avoid any screens or distractions. So, keep your phone away from yourself. Ask yourself simple things like, what am I proud of today? What was a moment of joy or connection? And then you can write down your reflections in a journal, or if you're not comfortable writing it down, you can speak them out aloud. And a few positive statements could include I did my best today, I'm enough, I'm growing each day, even in small ways. And the last for daily reprogramming is mirror talk with eye contact, which is quite powerful self-development practice where you speak directly to yourself in a mirror, making intentional eye contact as you repeat your affirmations. So, eye contact matters as it is deeply personal and emotionally activating. So, when you hold your gaze in the mirror, you confront your true self without any filters, and you break through the surface level thoughts and touch deeper emotions. And eye contact creates a really nice intimacy with yourself, which helps shift internalized self criticism into compassion. So you can use the following affirmations when you directly look yourself in the mirror, that I love you, I am proud of you, I love and accept you exactly for who you are. Now we have a small case study. So Neha is a 29-year-old female and was trapped in constant negative self-talk. Despite being competent at her marketing job, she felt like a fraud, often thinking that I'm not good enough or I'll mess this up. Her confidence eroded and anxiety became a daily struggle. On her therapist's suggestion, she began a simple daily routine: morning affirmations and nightly positive reflections. At first, it felt quite forced and uncomfortable, but within 3 weeks, she noticed a shift. She started catching the negative thoughts and replacing them with gentler ones. The affirmations began to feel real, and it helped her to reconnect with herself on a deeper level. So after 6 weeks, she felt more grounded and confident. She still had her tough days, no doubt regarding that, but instead of spiraling, she could support herself with compassion. Her mindset and her self-worth had begun to transform. So now I have a reflective question for all of you. How do you usually speak to yourself after you make a mistake? Would you speak the same? Would you speak that way to someone you care about? Think about this reflective question. Okay, moving forward, we have another technique that is called belief bank, and it is something that you can revisit whenever you feel like the self doubt is creeping in. So you can store your compliments that you've received, the wins that you're proud of, and the moments that make you feel strong, affirmations, etc. You can paste pictures or write it down yourself. Now we are coming towards the end of this workshop. Let us end it with a very soothing activity that is called supportive touch. Now, here are the few rules here, and I would request all of you to follow my voice. Find a comfortable space and settle in. Close your eyes, or if you're not comfortable closing your eyes, you can also focus on the circle, the animated circle on the left hand side. Take a few deep breaths, inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Do it for a few times. Bring your awareness to your body. noticing any sensations or tensions that you may be holding. Do it slowly and gradually. Now, gently place one or both your hands on your heart or on your chest, wherever feels most comfortable. Notice the warmth and the gentle pressure of your hands on your body. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Feel the natural rising and falling of your chest as you breathe. Notice it for a few seconds. Now focus on the sensations of your hands on your body. Keep breathing deeply as you do so. Feel the warmth and the gentle connection between your hands and your heart. Optionally, add self kindness affirmations. For example, I am safe, I am loved, I am worthy of care and compassion, I am doing the best I can, I am enough. You can try to think of any affirmations that you want to speak. It could be regarding your goals, your achievements, and repeat these as you take deep breaths and focusing on the touch, the supportive touch. If you want, you can also gently hand massage your arms or shoulders. Tell yourself that it is okay to relax. You can also gently run your fingers across your face. Let yourself feel all those sensations. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and again breathe out. Whenever you are ready, slowly bring your awareness back to the present moment. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Take a deep breath and open your eyes. Feel the sense of calm and peace that you just now cultivated. Take a few moments to get back to reality. You can breathe normally now. So, how did this activity make you feel? Think about all the emotions, all the feelings that you were going through while performing this activity. And now, one last question for all of you. What is one thought you'll choose to feed your mind from today? Take some time and think about it. It could be anything like I am brave, I can do this, I believe in me, and I am amazing. There are n number of thoughts, n number of positive beliefs that you can think about yourself. Now, thank you all for being a part of this workshop. I really appreciate your time and your, being able to listen to my workshop here. Thank you, everyone.